Have you ever noticed that some athletes head straight for a tub of icy water after training? Maybe you've seen others switch back and forth between hot and cold baths, like they're following some ancient ritual. It looks intense, but does it actually help the body recover faster? Today, we're diving into the science behind contrast baths and cold water immersion, and by the end, you might see recovery in a whole new light. Athletes spend countless hours training their bodies to perform at their peak, but here's a little-known truth. What you do after training can be just as important as the training itself. Recovery is where the magic happens. It's when your muscles repair, your energy stores refill, and your body adapts so you can push even harder next time. Neglect recovery and you risk hitting a plateau, or worse, ending up sidelined with an injury. So, is plunging into freezing water or alternating hot and cold baths worth the shivers? Let's take a closer look. First, what exactly are these methods? Cold water immersion, or CWI, is exactly what it sounds like. Submerging your body, or part of it, in cold water, usually between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, for several minutes. Contrast baths, or CB, are a little different. You alternate between hot water, usually around 38 to 40 degrees, and cold water, switching every minute or so. The theory: cold constricts blood vessels, reducing inflammation, while heat dilates them, increasing blood flow. Alternating between the two is thought to create a kind of pumping effect that speeds up recovery. It sounds logical, but does the science back it up? In a 2017 study by Crowther and colleagues, researchers compared 5 post-exercise recovery methods: cold water immersion, contrast water immersion, active recovery, a combination of cold water immersion plus active recovery, and just sitting down doing nothing. 34 recreationally active men took part in a simulated team sport workout, then tried one of these recovery strategies each week. They were tested 1, 24, and 48 hours later. The results? Contrast water immersion significantly improved how recovered participants felt just 1 hour after exercise compared to active recovery or doing nothing. But here's the twist: cold water immersion and the combined method actually reduced jump performance at that 1 hour mark. By 24 and 48 hours, though, there was no difference between any of the recovery methods, so short-term perception improved, but performance? Not so much. That brings us to a 2018 study by Shadgan and colleagues, which looked deeper into the body to see what was happening. They found that a 30-minute contrast bath increased the amount of oxygenated blood in calf muscles, which is important for tissue repair. This suggests that even if you don't feel immediate performance benefits, there may be physiological effects happening beneath the surface that could support recovery over time. On the other hand, not all research paints a glowing picture. A 2017 study by Argus and colleagues tested cold water immersion and contrast baths after a heavy resistance training session. They found that muscle strength and jump performance were reduced for at least 4 hours afterward, and neither cold water immersion nor contrast baths improved recovery during that period. So, mixed results. To get a clearer picture, we can turn to meta-analysis, where scientists combine data from multiple studies to look for overall patterns. In a 2017 meta-analysis by Higgins and colleagues, cold water immersion was found to improve recovery for certain measures 24 hours after team sports, especially neuromuscular recovery and perceptions of fatigue at 72 hours. Contrast water therapy, on the other hand, was more beneficial for reducing fatigue 48 hours after exercise. However, and this is key, neither method consistently reduced muscle soreness, which is what most athletes hope for. And what about situations where access to a bath or plunge pool isn't possible? A 2014 study by Juliff and colleagues explored whether contrast showers could be a substitute. They found no significant improvement in physical recovery compared to passive rest, but both contrast baths and showers improved how recovered athletes felt. That's an important point: the psychological benefit. Why does perception matter? If you feel better after a recovery session, you may go into your next workout with more confidence, focus, and willingness to push yourself. This placebo-like effect shouldn't be underestimated, especially in competitive sports where mindset can make all the difference. So, What's the takeaway? Cold water immersion and contrast baths aren't magic bullets. The science shows they can help with how recovered you feel, and in certain cases, improve performance or neuromuscular recovery at specific time points. But the effects aren't universal, and they may not always match the hype. Still, if you enjoy the ritual and it helps you feel ready to train again, it could be worth keeping in your recovery toolbox, especially when combined with other proven methods like proper sleep, nutrition, and active recovery. And remember, recovery isn't one size fits all. What works for one athlete may not work for another. The key is to experiment, track how you respond, and build a personalized recovery strategy backed by both science and your own experience. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. And if you want more evidence-based sports and rehabilitation science explained in a clear, simple way, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.